Tee Higgins has quickly become one of the most exciting young receivers in the NFL. But before he was catching touchdowns in the Super Bowl or winning a national championship in college, Higgins was dominating under the Friday night lights. Looking back at his high school tape, we see how Higgins' perseverance, raw skill, defensive flexibility, and basketball talents shaped him into the player he is today. Let's dive into what made Tee Higgins great. Higgins' journey to the highest level wasn't easy. His ability to fight through even the biggest of obstacles molded him into the gritty player he is today. In fact, Higgins didn't even like playing football when he was young. During his Pee Wee days, his mom and aunt had to bribe him with Hot Wheels to even get him on the field. He didn't enjoy the physical nature of the sport and would flee to the stands after a big hit. Higgins has been open about his past. His mom, Camilla Stewart, has always been a major source of motivation for him. When he was in kindergarten, Camilla was hospitalized from a gunshot wound from her then boyfriend and drug dealer. Amazingly, she survived, and after a year of rehab and recovery, she got sober in 2007. Higgins promised his mom he'd finish college. Even though he left school early for the NFL draft, he's still working on his degree. Camilla's resilience reminds Higgins that he can overcome any challenge on or off the field. Higgins' childhood never stopped him from excelling as a multi-sport athlete. Along with football, he was a standout basketball player in high school. One could even argue he's the best basketball player currently in the NFL. Higgins actually had dreams of playing in the NBA. Had he fully committed to basketball, Higgins could have made that dream a reality. He earned multiple D1 offers, including schools like North Carolina, Louisville, and Michigan. He regularly showed off his natural athletic ability with highlight-worthy dunks like these.
He's gonna dunk it! Oh man! Oh man! Off the alley-oop, boom!
Smith comes away with it. He gets it. Who throws it down? Taking a deep three, drives the middle lane, throws it down.
Here's T. It's under the knee. Slams it.
At Oak Ridge High School in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Higgins began freshman year already standing at 6'3". That year, he scored in double figures in the state tournament quarterfinals to help Oak Ridge reach the state championship for the first time in 51 years. Higgins wasn't originally going to play basketball his senior year to focus on football. He later changed his mind though for one last ride on the hardwood, although he had to miss multiple games for football commitments such as the Under Armour All-American game. That year, he led Oak Ridge to the state semifinals, but they lost to the reigning champs Memphis East, where former NBA All-Star Penny Hardaway was an assistant. Higgins also was named to the All-Tournament team that season. Not only was Tee Higgins a multi-sport talent, he was also very versatile on the football field. When he wasn't dominating opponents at wide receiver, Higgins occasionally suited up on defense as a cornerback. When he did, Higgins locked down opposing offenses. His head coach, Joe Gaddis, said that he literally shut down half of the field because no one would throw it his way. His innate ability to snag balls translated well to the defensive side. Higgins had several interceptions throughout his career. Once the ball was in his hands, the offensive skill immediately flipped back on. He was a big play threat that could return interceptions for touchdowns. In just the first quarter of his first game as a senior, Higgins picked off 2 passes. He was the ultimate competitor and looked forward to shutting down the opposing team's best wide receiver. He personally ensured that he would be the most productive pass catcher in every single matchup. Playing both sides of the ball helped Higgins become a much better wide receiver. He had a deeper understanding of defensive coverages and schemes. Higgins quickly learned how defenses would attempt to shut down big play threats like himself, and he made them pay. Higgins' talents as a wide receiver far surpassed anything he did as a cornerback or basketball player. His raw skill made him dangerous on the outside and a highly sought-after 5-star recruit. Higgins was a master at high-pointing balls, a skill he developed thanks to playing basketball. It's a talent he's brought to the pros, as he makes even NFL defensive backs look small with his stunning hops. Higgins' high school coach convinced him that he had a better chance at becoming a star on the gridiron. There were a lot of guys Higgins' size in basketball, but in football, he was a giant. He ultimately decided to focus on football, a decision that has paid off in a big way. Higgins became the first freshman to start at Oak Ridge since 2002. He returned a kick for a touchdown early in his first season and never looked back. He won Mr. Football in Tennessee both as a junior and a senior and was the first player in Oak Ridge history to win the award twice. He became the school's all-time leader in receiving yards, catches, and receiving touchdowns. Higgins was also named to the Under Armour All-American game. Oak Ridge retired his jersey for both his accomplishments in football and basketball, only the third jersey the school had ever retired. Tee Higgins' dominance in high school foreshadowed a successful career at all levels. His talent, versatility, and perseverance built him into the player we know today. His highlight-worthy dunks and jaw-dropping catches wowed fans when he was in high school, and he continues to entertain today.